And what is the proper number of significant figures? Anybody know?
2.
2. This one has 2. This one has 3. You have to go with the lowest in the data given, so we have to go with 2. This one we like. It came out with a ones place only, so we don't have to do any adjustment here, but we have to fix this. So the number after the last significant figure is a 6, so we would round up 1.5 times 10 to the 4th. Okay. 13 is the same. 14 is a multiply. 15 is a division. Any requests for any of those? It's about the same thing. How about 16? Anybody need that one? My last class needed that one.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
There are 1.01 million K-12 students in Indiana. Indiana spends about $9,400 per pupil. Express your answers rounded to 3 significant figures. Express the number of students in scientific notation. Well, I like they gave us the ones place only. All we need to do is add the million, which is times 10 to the 6th. Okay. Money spent. Well, it's in standard form. The decimal's right here. So we get 9.4 times 10 to what power?
3.
Okay. Now, a lot of people think they want to divide, but they're asking you how much money is spent total. This is what they spend on each one of these, so this is multiplication. 1.01 times 9.4 times 10 to the 6 plus 3, because we're multiplying these two numbers together. We're going to use the product rule. So 1.01 times 9.4 6 plus 3 is 9. And this is 3 significant figures. Significant figures does not mean after the decimal. It's total. Okay? Non-zero in the front, non-zero in the back. So 1, 2, 3. 9.49 times 10 to the 9th. Okay? Okay. 17 is similar. 18 is how many times larger? So that means we're going to have to divide. So express the population of China in scientific notation. Ten to the 9th. The U.S. To the 8th. How many times larger than the U.S. is China? Round correctly to the nearest hundredths place. So we're doing 1.36208 divided by 3.1, and then we've got 10 to the 9th over 10 to the 8th. So 9 minus 8 is 1. Okay, we multiply that by 10, we get 4.291, round to the hundredths, 4.29 times larger. Okay. Questions? Okay. How about 19 or 20? Anybody for 19 or 20? Or should we go on to the next two sections? I guess we're going on to the next two sections. Okay. This started out where we're just using more negative exponents on this section. How about you guys try number 2? And the results have to be in scientific notation. So you are almost there. Just put your answer in scientific notation. Yep. You get 44 times 10 to the 4 minus 3 is 10 to the first, but we can only have a ones in scientific notation. Okay, so that becomes 4.4. To go back here, 4.4, we'd have to multiply by 10 to get 44. So we need one more factor of 10, so that 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay. Getting them? Any request on this page? Because my other class had a lot of requests. They had problems with some of these with the negatives. Let's try 4. Try a quotient. This one will be tough on the exponent for you. What happens to that exponent?
It goes.
This is larger, so to get to a smaller, we
It
have
goes
to
down.
divide by 10, so we need to take 1 away.
Yeah.
So from negative 12, it's going to become what?
Negative 13.
Yep. And that is one, there would be more wrong answers than right, because you have to think very carefully about what's going on. That would not be negative 11, it would be negative 13. Because this is larger. To get back to 0.4, which is smaller, you'd have to divide by 10, which makes that a negative 13. Okay? And you can check those in your calculator. 0.4 times 10 to the negative 12th. It's going to be kind of hard. It's keeping me in scientific notation. Oh, it did work. Look what it gave me. That's equal to 4
Yeah, it gave me
times
that
10
too.
to the negative 13th. Okay. So
Gave me that too.
a good way to check it. It didn't give us to the negative 11th, did it?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Okay. Now we're getting into some per capita. Remember, that means something per person. Any choices, 6, 7, or 8? Anybody want to see? Pick one.
8.
Did I hear a response?
8.
8. 8 would be your most difficult one just because of the size of the numbers. They're all done the same, but when you throw in these kind of numbers, it makes it more difficult. Okay. From class, we learned the federal debt in millions. This one is real tricky. This is the kind you got to watch out for. This is not the number alone. It's this with 6 more zeros behind it, or times 10 to the 6th. Okay? Which is a goofy way of saying it. Only it's going to work out nice because we also have this in millions. And the population was 309 million. Use the information to compute the federal debt per capita. Set up a template, debt per capita. So you put the right thing in the numerator and denominator. The debt goes in the numerator. Okay. There I'm accounting for that little thing they put right there in millions. The population goes in the denominator. The good thing, we don't have to worry about this. Common factors cancel numerator to denominator. We're not even going to have to put it in our calculator. So all we have to do is divide numerator to denominator. Okay, this was in 2010. It is much worse now. What this means that in 2010, every man, woman, child, invalid, person on a feeding tube in the U.S., if we each came up with that much money, we could pay off the debt. Newborn, infant, everything. It is way higher than that now. Did I put in the wrong number? Somebody get something else? Did I type it wrong? Anybody else get that?
I got that behind zeros. I got 0.043884.
That.
Yep, this is correct. These aren't decimals, these are commas, okay? And it was in millions, and this is 309 million. So these cancel. So you're just dividing this number by 309 and rounding to the nearest cent. Okay? So it's $43,888.75. Oops, somebody needs muted. Ashley, I just saw your hand.
Yeah.
Did you have a question?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Finally. Sorry I was late. Does per mean when it says debt over capita and then per, would that be in place with the equal sign with per?
Per means to divide.
Oh.
Debt
okay.
per capita, in that case, per capita means you're going to take that debt, how much per person, so you divide. Okay. Now, in some cases it doesn't, but in most cases it means, and whenever it's debt per capita or something per capita, you're going to divide. Okay.
Okay, and one more question. Are we on, since I apologize for being late, I was trying to fix my computer.
That's all right. It happens.
And then are we on section 3?
This is section 4 now. We're on section 4, I think.
And was number 2, when we did number 2, the 8.8, was that section 3 or section 4?
4. That was where we just started section 4.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And is this in the book or just on the homework?
This is your WebWorks printed out. I printed out my WebWorks. Okay.
Okay. So I just had Becky to print off mine since I was at the school. Does that, it looks different from my homework that it was printed off. Is the homework, the in-class homework, different from the online homework?
The WebWorks homework pulls from a pool of questions. So we get similar questions, but we usually have different values.
Gotcha. So that's
But
why
once
when
you
she
print
handed
yours
it.
off, if you work it and go back, it's going to be the same question for you. Like if I go
Wait,
back,
so,
I'm going to have the same question, so I'm not going to pull a new one. The one I had is still going to be there once I print it. Okay. And that's why I said somebody
okay.
said they put in there my answer and I was wrong. And I'm like, you don't get the same question. You get a different one with similar answers. We all pull from a pool of questions. Okay.
Okay.
So like you
So,
may have a little different number here and a little different number here.
right.
Okay.
And my other question is, how would I print something off of WebWorks? Would it still be the same or would it change?
It stays the same unless you've done a similar question, you know, like you've got it wrong 3 times and you've said, give me a new question. As long as you haven't done that, it's going to stay the same.
Awesome.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So how would I print off the WebWorks? I'm sorry for wasting everyone's time. I don't mean to. I was just
Okay, I thought Becky printed it out for you.
It's in a different layout.
Well, I changed mine to 1 column. You can print it. I think it defaults to 2 column. I just like mine in 1.
Okay, that's what it happened. She printed out in 2, and it's different from online.
I can see if WebWorks will bring it up if other people want to see it, but WebWorks is, you know, a chance right now that it won't come up right away.
It's not working for me. So,
Yeah. So
would it be better to try at night to do homework and work on WebWorks?
early morning is probably the best. Like before 10 o'clock has been really good. Night has been real busy up until like 11 o'clock has been, I found to be very busy.
So before 10 a.m., work on WebWorks, and then
Yeah, I see. I'm just pulled out, and I'm probably not going to be able to get back in. But we'll see.
after. Okay, thank you. That works for me. I know what time to get on and what not to get on. Thank you so much. I apologize.
Don't apologize.
Okay.
Hopefully next week, when they've bought more space, I can show everybody how to print one.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
But right now, I'm afraid it would probably take us the whole class. But let's see. I got one up right now. Let me see if we can. It probably won't go through, but we'll try it. Okay, so I got into a homework.
Oh my goodness.
I think I'm in step 2, but I just went in and see right down here. It says download PDF, our text copy. You just click on that.
Gotcha. Okay.
And like I said, see how it's spinning? It's probably going to take forever to come up, so I may not wait for that. We'll go on with the class. But that's where you click on it. And then it gives you a couple of options on to print it or not. Yours is just printed in 2 columns is the default. You can go to course configuration and print it in 1. It just gives me more room to write to show it. Yeah, see, we went to this, which is
that's what I kept on getting today.
Yeah, that's what happens when it's busy, but that's how we do it. Okay.
I got that too.
Yeah.
You said you extended our due dates, right?
Yeah.
For the web work sessions.
Yeah.
Are the due dates, are they extended ones on there already? Or?
Yeah. I extended the first 2 weeks out until September after Labor Day, like to give you over to the 9th or 8th or 9th. And for some reason, 2 of the 3 classes, even though I keep putting 11:59 p.m., overnight it'll switch them to 12:59 a.m. I have no idea. And it doesn't change to the next day. It does it the day before. So it's making them do on Friday or Saturday morning instead of Saturday night. no matter how many times I change it. And only 2 of the 3 classes is doing that. So I have no idea why it's doing that. And I'm tired of changing, 1,000 dates a day and times. So
Yeah.
I just put them out to the middle of the week for the first 6 sections till we see what happens. Then I'll just make them do Sunday so that they'll be in the morning at 12 a.m., 2 hours later or something. I'm tired of fighting with the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what comes up. It did come up now. See how I just kept hitting reload? Yeah, just hit reload a few times and I usually get in. Yours isn't going to look like this because I'm an instructor probably. You're probably not going to see this side. You'll just see this side. So then like I'd print section 3 if I wanted to print it. And then you won't have correct answers. You might have hints on there. And then that's where it says 1 column or 2 right there.
Oh, okay, so it did not, what I'm saying is it did not look nothing like the regular homework on here.
And then I print that.
Okay. It looked nothing like, and I got started on the homework 3, well, section 3, the homework, section 3 homework.
Yes.
And I could not get on afterwards. I was like, I'm trying to get back on. And then I went back into section 2 homework.
Yeah. So then you can print it from there. Okay.
Cool. Thanks.
All right. Let's get back to the last section we need to go over. Okay. Because we are running out of time here.
Yikes.
Okay, number 9. Very important one, test questions. Make sure you do your discussion board. You've got to work some problems. You have to post before you can see anybody else's, so don't wait. Don't think you're going to be waiting and see somebody else's. It won't let you see anybody else's until you post. You have to post. Then you can correct yours after you communicate with somebody else and say, I didn't understand this. Maybe I got it wrong. Can you help me through it? That's fine. You can revise it. You should revise it. That's part of your grade if you got it wrong, and help somebody else, then explain what you did wrong, and then you can help somebody else. But don't think you can just, don't be waiting to see somebody else's. You have to post first. What I've done is I taken one of the test questions, I've changed it, and I want you guys to talk about it to help prepare you for the test. The table below shows the population of several states. Express these in scientific notation, rounded to the hundredths place, and if you noticed, it's going to be like the 8th place is what you have to round to on the quiz. Okay, so I'm just going to do a couple of these, not all of them. The deaths is just the number. Here's what gets people. This column is in millions. So these are all going to be times 10 to the 6th. Now, I'm not going to adjust these to proper scientific notation. I'm not going to make that 1.24 times 10 to the 7th because it didn't tell me I had to. Now, my answer here has to be in scientific notation. I'll have to adjust that, but my computation, I don't. So it's deaths per capita. So deaths per divide capita is population. So for Indiana, 693 divided by 6 times 10 to the 6th. The easiest way is to use handy dandy here. Hit your fraction button. 6, directional arrow down, 6 times 10. There is an exponent key. I just don't use it. I use the caret. Okay. Make sure you have that as an exponent, and I hit enter. So, oh, except somebody wake me up. That's not 6 up there. What do I need in the numerator? what was my numerator? 693 divided by 6 times 10 to the 6th. That's better. So I get 0.000115. Now, what would that be in scientific notation? One, two, three, 4. This number is larger, going to a smaller. So 1.155 times 10 to the negative
4.
Okay. Now, how do we get per 100,000? Take your decimal and multiply by 100,000. Okay, just take your decimal number, multiply by 100,000. They should have this column in their decimal form. Then you just multiply by 100,000 and get per. So that means there's 11.55 motor vehicle deaths per every 100,000 people in Indiana. If they said how many per 1,000 people, you just would have multiplied this decimal by 1,000. Okay? And that's what you do for all of these. Okay? I'd like to do more, but we're going to run out of time. That is your first quiz question. But be careful, you got to round this to 8 decimal places. Okay? Then you put it in scientific notation. So anybody want to pick a state? We'll do one more that's on the quiz here.
Illinois.
Illinois. So remember, it's deaths per capita. So 911 divided by 12.4 times 10 to the 6th. So we get 0.123473468. 8 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So that's going to round to right there. Okay. You got to watch that rounding or it'll count you wrong. Now, on Indiana, it's making you put the 0 in the front, or it's going to count it wrong. And it terminates, you got to have the zeros on the back. What is this in scientific notation? You go from here, it'll count it wrong if you just do like 7.3. You got to use the same ones here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 10 to the negative 5th. Okay. On the quiz, these were basic proportions. Multiply the diagonal without a variable. 10 times 40. Divide by the diagonal with the variable. 2 decimal places, so 5.33. Watch the rounding or it will count you wrong. The next one on the quiz is the same thing. Want to make sure I get this one in. This is one of our what ifs. You'll do them all semester questions. Okay. Ivy's DOT announces a goal to reduce motor vehicle death rate so that their rate is proportional to Tech's. About how many deaths, there's your question, would Ivy be able to have to achieve this goal? You need to set up a proportion with blanks, a template. You're considering Ivy and Tech are the 2 places. and you're considering deaths per capita. Deaths, motor vehicle deaths per the population. Okay? Now they're asking you to pretend you don't know Ivy's death. They're saying, what if it were different? What if it were proportional to tech? So you can either put a question mark if variables scare you, or put an X if you like variables. What is their population? We fill in the template. And they're saying, what if it's proportional to tech? So we use all of tech's numbers. 709 deaths, 11.3 million. So even though we have an actual number, they're saying, what if Ivy was proportional to tech? What would their death rate be? And this comes back to, you're going to do cross multiplying through this whole semester. You're going to know it in your sleep. First, you multiply whatever diagonal doesn't have the unknown. So you're going to do 709 times 12.4 million. Then we divide by the value on the diagonal with the variable. Now there's a reason I didn't put this in my calculator yet. I don't like to work with the big numbers and enter all those zeros or times 10 to the 6 if I don't have to. If I have millions in numerator and denominator, common factors cancel. Okay? Million and million. So all I have to do is 709 times 12.4 divided by 11.35. I forgot to hit divide. 709 times 12.4 divided by 11.35. And it says go to the nearest integer, which is the nearest whole number. So they would reduce theirs to 775 if they had the same proportion of motor vehicle deaths. Okay? And
So there's,
did a couple of you say you got that? Good job. Or was that to the last problem?
so nearest integer means
Nearest whole number. It could be negative though. Positive or negative number without a decimal or fraction. Okay? So the what ifs are going to happen all through the semester. The best way is to set them up. Set up the proportion you know, set up the one that you're changing and put in the part that you know, and then leave the blank that you don't know. I know we had a lot this week. Anytime we have 3 sections, you're going to have a lot. Keep telling yourself that you saved $300. I know at this point you probably don't care that you saved $300, but it is supposed to get better. Take the discussion board as an opportunity to prepare for your test. It is not busy work, okay? I've seen some people that have already done it in some of my classes. I don't remember if this is one of them, and they did a great job. I think they really have a thorough understanding of, and they're ready for the test question on the test on dependency ratios, age dependency ratios, because they really did answer them right, explain them right. And those are high point questions on the test. So take the time, whatever you need in that discussion, and make sure you understand it and you're ready to answer those questions on the test. Any questions for me? I know we're over time and some of you are probably got to go, but any questions?
yes.
Okay.
My question is, so what you're saying the discussion board is like taking time, not only saying what the class is about and how you feel about the class and answering the questions
That's not
on the
what this week.
discussion board.
That's not what this week's is about. This week's is a problem you're working out.
Oh, so we had to piggyback, just answer it and then see other people's answers and compare them?
Yes. And then even if you think yours is right, you still have to defend it either by, I believe mine's right because this is why. And then you have to help somebody see if you think theirs is wrong, you have to help them. I think you may want to do this, this, and this because of this, this, and this.
Oh, okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah. The last one, there wasn't any defending. This time you either, validate your answer and help somebody else, or you revise your answer. um, so, yeah. So, yep, this one will help get you ready for the test.
Okay, so is there a recording? Was this session recorded?
It was. I missed the first couple of minutes because I forgot, but you might want to do my Monday class. I think I got most of it recorded. So instead of watching this one, because the part you missed, I missed recording the very beginning. So instead of watching this one, you might want to watch the one that was Monday, which I haven't put up yet. I've got to put it on YouTube, but I've got it transferred, so it should be up by tomorrow. So instead of watching Wednesday, watch the one dated Monday at the beginning.
So just go on YouTube and